Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Rajat Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. This is the monthly predictions for the month of November, where I'm going to talk about the most important transits of the month based on your ascendant, lagna, or the moon sign. At the physical levels, you will see this from the ascendant. At the mental, emotional level, you can also see this from the moon sign. There is a lot happening in the month of November. Saturn will continue its retrograde motion. Jupiter is also going to go Vakri or retrograde on 11th of November, and between 9th till 29th of November, Mercury will also be retrograde, initially in the sign of Scorpio and then moving in the sign of Libra in the last week of November. So the month of November is bringing huge karmic repercussions because three of the planets will have a retrograde motion simultaneously. Let's be prepared for this significant shift. Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs. So I'm here to give you the most important planetary updates for the month of November, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and how you can navigate through this time. Month of November is bringing in huge shifts because we will have three planets going in a retrograde motion. Let us begin with Jupiter, who becomes your ninth lord and the 12th lord. So he rules your Bhagya Bhava, the house of long journeys, spiritual, higher education, and also the Vyaya Bhava, the house of your expenditure, losses, your higher self consciousness. Jupiter has already entered Cancer, which is its exaltation sign. So, the first 11 days of this transit, Jupiter will continue its direct motion. Now, while it is in the sign of Cancer, it is also in Cancer Navamsha, which means it is Varga Uttama. It is Vargottama, which means Varga Uttama. That means the disposition is superior. That Varga and the matters related to Navamsha, which is Bhagya, are absolutely superior. Now, there is another concept in Jyotish, in Vedic Jyotish, which we call Pushkaramsha. Jupiter is also in Pushkaramsha. So will be Saturn. So both of them are absolutely very strong in the month of November. Now, first 10 11 days, it is making a direct motion. It is aspecting your 8th house by the 5th special aspect and the 12th house by the ninth special aspect. Now, these aspects are increasing your spiritual capabilities, your spiritual pursuit, because this is where your 4, 8, 12, your moksha trine is absolutely active. So, very good for spiritual pursuits. Whichever house Jupiter makes a transit, it does expand the signification related to that house, which is your 4th house matters. Happiness, comfort, your safe space. Now, during this transit, Jupiter will have a 5th aspect on Mars, on Mercury, and also later on Sun. Jupiter and Sun will make a connection later in November, which is creating a royal lineage in your case, 16th November onwards. Sun is your 5th lord and will be making a transit in the 8th house between mid November till mid December. And during this time, half of the time, Jupiter is having a 5th drishti on Sun. So the second half of November for you is very good when it comes to making key decisions, when it comes to taking stock of some things related to your future, and of course for financial gains as well. Jupiter also continues to aspect Saturn throughout the month of November, which is trying to again bring down your expenditure, curtail, and you will see a renewed development, positive development in your health and well being. For your health and well being, it is a very fortunate month. On 11th of November, Jupiter goes retrograde. Now, when it goes retrograde, it has a strong aspect on the 7th from its position, which is on your 10th house. So 11th November onwards, you will see some pattern, you will see some trend that is related to your work, that is related to your career, that would need more attention. Jupiter will also be looking back at the 3rd house, and this is where you have to put in more efforts in anything that you do. Your Lagna Lord Mars on Mangal is going to be making a transit in the 8th house. Now, this transit is also creating a Viparit Yoga because Mars also becomes your 8th Lord. But by the virtue of aspect from Jupiter, your Lagna Lord is getting great support. Whenever Jupiter and Mars make a connection, they are blessings of the Divine Mother. They are blessings of Goddess Parvati. Please look up to her. In spite of this being a not so comfortable position for Mars, it could make you secretive, it could make you, a person who would probably hide things. As long as it is causing any trouble in your relationship, you should be careful. Otherwise, Jupiter's aspect will definitely bestow some sort of wisdom. In the month of November, you do have some relationship karma. Venus will be making a transit in the seventh house, which is a strong position. So, in case you've had some issues with relationship, Venus finally is moving out of debility. It is entering your seventh house. For a brief period, it will also be conjoined with Sun. Venus is not going through under combustion. Sun and Venus's connection is very auspicious for relationship because this brings consistency and also a sense of loyalty, considering Venus should not be combust. So you definitely could expect some better results when it comes to relationship matter, and of course your comfort as well. Your work definitely will need some attention later in November, which could bring in sudden shift. Be careful of your communication because Mercury is also going retrograde, and that is happening in your eighth house. Later, Mercury will also move back to the seventh house. So, again, you have to be very careful with your communication with regards to things that you do on a day to day basis, with regards to other people, and bring in a sense of harmony in your relationship. Continue to look up to Jupiter, your ninth lord, continue to strengthen it. Use a Guru mantra, that is Om Guruve Namah, and may you have the most positive energies in the month of November. Taurus ascendants or the Taurus moon signs. The month of November, I'm going to present to you the most important planetary updates. I have a representative chart for you to make things very easy, very simple, and give you an overview of how the planetary position look in the month of November for you, and of course, how you can make the most of this month. Now, what is happening in the month of November? Let's talk about some of the most important planetary updates and planetary transits. So, firstly, I would like to start with Saturn's transit. Saturn is your ninth lord and the 10th lord. It is a Yoga Karaka Graha for you. Saturn will begin its direct motion towards the end of November. So, last week of November is very important for you, right? Last week of November is when Saturn is going to go stationary, because when it is moving from a retrograde to a direct motion, it goes stationary since Saturn takes a long period of time in terms of making a transit. So it'll go stationary for about 1 week. And that is one time when you could manifest things related to your fortune and also work. So it's an excellent time towards the end of November for you to make some critical work related decisions, which could be extremely beneficial, that could be extremely helpful for you. And this is where you have to maximize and, of course, prepare for the direct motion of Saturn. See, when Saturn goes retrograde, it is time for taking action, it is time for taking decisions. And of course, when it starts its direct motion, you could have some similarity of the month of March through May early this year, and certain events to re-trigger. Jupiter will be having a ninth aspect on Saturn. Jupiter continues to make a movement in your third house as it enters Cancer, its exaltation sign, though it's a Marankarak sthan or a death-like position for Jupiter. However, its aspect on Saturn will be very supportive for you for work-related matters and also in terms of elevation of your bhagya. Let's talk about your Lagna Lord Venus. Shukra will finally move out of debility. And in the month of November, it will move through your sixth house. Though in sixth house, Venus also attains Marankarak position. Jupiter is also Marankarak, right? Now, Mars will also be moving through your seventh house. It also achieves a Marankarak position in the seventh house. And Mercury is also said to be weak or again an MKS position in the seventh house. So this month you could expect some relationship karmas. Though Venus is out of debility, it is moving through its own sign of Libra. So this is an exception which is there for Venus. In spite of being in Marankarak, it is in good dignity, it is in good strength. And it is also creating a Vipreet Yoga, which means circumstances, situation could go adverse and eventually you will rise off this transit. And this is how you should look forward to the transit. This transit will increase your desire quotient because Jupiter is supporting your 3, 7, 11 trine, your trine of desire. And this is what you need to manage, you need to channelize. See, when Jupiter's signification, Venus's signification, Mars's signification go weak, it affects our wisdom, it affects our interaction with other people, and it also affects our energy levels. So you have to really watch your energy levels and try to stay active all through the time because you could feel lethargic and you could feel low on energy in the month of November. I would advise you to exercise, eat right, and have a very active day. That should be all through the day. Let us also talk about Mercury. So Mercury will be moving through the seventh house in the sign of Scorpio. This is an inimical sign for Mercury, and Mercury will be conjoined with Mars. So Mars and Mercury making a conjunction. This is your fifth lord and your seventh lord making a transit in the seventh house, which is forming a yoga. Mars is also your 12th lord. So expect expenditure to rise with regards to partnership, with regards to your spouse or marriage related matters. And that will be your, of course, area where you have to focus quite a lot. Mercury will go retrograde between 9th till 29th of November, and it will also move back to the sign of Libra on 23rd of November. And this is where there could be certain karmic repercussions with regards to your future decision. There could be lack of clarity with regards to what you need to do in terms of your future. Though Mercury's movement back to Libra would be considered quite auspicious, you will get a lot of support. Your Lagna Lord will get a lot of support of Mercury. They will be in a nice yuti, they will be in a nice yoga during this time. And Mercury will significantly spend more time in the seventh house. So expect relationship karmas. You have to be careful with your communication when it comes to communicating with your spouse, your partner, or in general with other people as well for the next 2.5 months. And since Sun and Mercury will also be forming a Budh Aditya Yoga, it is good for you to venture into some learning opportunities that are related to your business that could help you solve some of the relationship queries. And my best wishes for you. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. The month of November, which is bringing in significant shifts because there are number of planetary movements that are happening. Jupiter has already changed signs. Saturn towards the end of November will move in a direct motion. Mercury is changing signs. Venus is changing signs, moving to Libra. Mars is going to be changing signs, moving to Scorpio, and Mercury is also changing signs, moving to Scorpio, and then going retrograde. Three planets will be in a Vakri or a retrograde motion, bringing in significant karmic shift. So, November is a very heavy karmic month. Now, let me talk about your Lagna Lord Mercury. Let's start with Mercury, who rules your first house and the fourth house, which represents yourself, your body, your immunity, who you are, and also the fourth lord of your happy space, your safe space, your home, mother, homeland. So, Buddha's transit, any which way, becomes extremely important for you. Mercury will be moving through your sixth house and it will come in conjunction with Mars. Mercury and Mars will also get involved in a Graha Yuddha or a planetary war, and this is where Mars is winning the war. Later, Mercury will also be conjoined with Surya. Mercury will be retrograde between 9th till 29th of November, and it will also move back to the sign of Libra, wherein for 1 week it will be conjoined with Venus. So one thing in general is there that some of your decisions in the month of November will be linked to your past, related to your work, related to your job. You would come in contact with some past connections, some old friends, old acquaintances who you have lost touch with, and this could be very beneficial for you. So make sure that you leverage these relationships. You could also have a renewed connection towards your mother, but take care of your mother's health over the course of next few weeks. Now, this month is also quite crucial for you to avoid taking any major decision, milestone decisions, or some major step in your life. Because when the Lagna Lord goes a little bit of a weaker position, especially till 23rd of November, so it will be retrograde, it will also undergo combustion. So that is a double whammy kind of a situation for you. So last week of November will be more suitable, more favorable because this is where Mercury comes in contact with Venus and you're definitely getting some support at that point in time. Let us talk about Venus here. Venus is the only Yoga Karaka or the most favorable planet for you because that becomes your fifth lord and the 12th lord. Venus is making a beautiful transit, the most amazing transit in your fifth house. So when the fifth lord is in the fifth house, that itself gives a huge boost, that itself gives a huge sense of protection here because it is forming a yoga. This is a financial yoga, this is a dhan yoga. This is also a very good time for you to put some plans ahead of the time in terms of your future, goal setting. Relationship matters are going to improve. You're going to build a very strong, healthy, and long lasting relationship This could be both at the personal front and also at the professional front. And make sure that you leverage this time for future planning. Use mantra based remedies. Any mantra related to Venus. This could be a Bij mantra of Venus. This could also be a simple Lakshmi mantra, that is Om Lakshmi Nama. Venus will be aspecting your 11th house. And of course, would make things possible when it comes to gain or a rise in income or some sort of incentive, bonus, or recognition depending on your ongoing dasha and dasha. Jupiter has already moved in your second house. On 11th of November, Jupiter will go retrograde. So when an exalted planet goes retrograde, it typically starts behaving as a debilitated planet. So this Jupiter will behave as if it's Jupiter in Capricorn, because Capricorn is 7 houses away from Jupiter in this transit. This will have a huge aspect on the 7th house, which is promoting positive transformation. See, Jupiter's aspect will never harm, it is always positive. Now, saving grace for you is Jupiter will be aspecting your Lagna Lord Mercury most of the time. And of course, the time when it is in Scorpio, it will have an aspect which will help you overcome obstacles in spite of probably facing any odds or any confusion with regards to your decisions. You will still be in a safe space because Jupiter is protecting. Jupiter is also aspecting your 10th house and Shani here. So the month of November is very crucial for work related matters, for you to take some important decisions with regards to work. Now, personally, you will still feel some sort of confusion, some sort of challenge. But Jupiter as aspect on Saturn will no longer delay things and put things in perspective and also increase the pace of life. Shani finally, who's your ninth lord and eighth lord, he's your Bhagyesha. End of November, Saturn will begin its direct motion. In the last week of November, Saturn will be stationary. So it's a very important time for you to learn and, of course, manifest things related to your higher learning, higher education. Travel could also be on the cards, which could be quite fruitful for you. Jupiter will also go stationary in the month of November between 7th till 12th, 13th November. Saturn will go stationary towards the end of November. So these are your ninth and the 10th lord. So in terms of your bhagya and work related decision, this is quite crucial. But at the same time, you could be in a confused state. So try to clear your mind, try to get the necessary advice or suggestion, and my best wishes for you. Cancer ascendants or the Cancer moon signs. Now, the month of November, which is bringing in huge shifts, I'm going to talk about the most important planetary updates, give you a view, because we will see a retrograde motion of three planets, Saturn, Jupiter, as well as Mercury. Most of the planets are changing signs. Jupiter has already moved in Cancer. Saturn is going to move in direct motion towards the end of November. Venus is changing signs. Sun will move out of debility and thereafter will move in the sign of Scorpio mid of November. Mars is changing signs in its own sign of Scorpio, which is a very strong transit, and Mercury is also changing signs. So, a lot is happening in the month of November. This time period, you could have wavering, shifting tendencies, but personally, it's a good month for you to make some important decisions. Because, see, most of the time, the planets are either in your quadrant houses or your trine houses, barring Rahu and Ketu. Most of the times, these planets are either in the Kendra or trinal houses, barring Rahu Ketu, and of course, Moon as well, who would make fast transit. That's your Lagna Lord. You must continue to strengthen your Moon. At the mental level, you will get a lot of strength because if we begin with Jupiter's transit, the most favorable transit for you because he's your ninth Lord and also the sixth Lord. He's your Bhagyesha. He also rules the house that represents your daily routine, deaths, diseases, things that you do on a day to day basis. Jupiter in the Lagna of the first house gains directional strength. What is Digvali? They are blessings of Lord Shiva. They are blessings of Sada Shiva during this time. So you must make the most of it. Mentally, you will be in a better position. Physically, you will also be in a good position. Because see, Jupiter will be making an aspect on Mars, on Surya, on Mercury, and also on Saturn. So it is solving for a number of houses in your case, the second house of your finances, and typically your Lagnesha as well, moon. It is giving that strength. It is also supporting the seventh house matters, which is your relationship, 10th house matter, which is career, work, and of course, 12th house, which is a lot to do with spirituality. Jupiter is focusing a lot on your Dharma trine. So, this is more or less a trailer of what possibly can happen after June 2026. Jupiter's aspect are absolutely beneficial. But on 11th of November, Jupiter will go retrograde or Vakri. After that, you have to be a little bit careful because some of your decisions could go here and there. See, when Jupiter in exaltation goes retrograde, it starts behaving as if it's Jupiter sitting in the sign of Capricorn. Firstly, it will have a heavy aspect on your seventh house, which is bringing in some relationship karma. So you have to be very protective of your relationship. You need to use your maturity and wisdom. And it will also be looking back at your 12th house, which means it wants to reevaluate some of your expenditure. All right. But second half of November is not the most ideal time for you to make some important decisions. First half is more or less quite positive for you, and this is where you need to make the most of it. Let's talk about Mars, who's the Yoga Karaka planet for you, the fifth lord and the 10th lord. He rules the Karya Bhava. He rules two houses that represents kingdom or king-like success in your case. And Mangal is making a very favorable transit in your fifth house in the sign of Scorpio. And it will be aspected by Jupiter, by the fifth special aspect. So, work related things could significantly progress and prosper in the month of November. It is a good time for you to make a job change. It is a good time for you to put those applications across. The ray of light and hope is going to be extremely high in the month of November because two of the important planets, your trinal lords, are going to be in great dignity. So, not only for making decisions, but also with regards to solving certain matters related to your work and related to your future. Though Mars in fifth house is not very ideal for children because it could bring issues, it could bring temperamental disagreements. But here Mars is in its own sign, so it is anyway supporting you. Okay, Mercury and Mars will be conjoined. So when Mercury and Mars are conjoined, this is also a yoga because Mercury is your third lord, Mars is the fifth lord, and Mars has a greater say. Mercury will go retrograde. So, of course, there are karmic repercussions related to your future, but any efforts that you put, you would likely see results of those efforts. You need to either continue to strengthen, remedy Jupiter or Mars in your case. So, either use the Bij Mantra of Guru or Bij Mantra of Mangal in order to ensure your path to success. Surya will also get cancellation of debility in your fourth house, though it's a weak position for Surya. But when it conjoins Venus, who gains directional strength in the fourth house, is Digbali, bringing in comforts at home. Sun is definitely getting that support. And later in November, Mars and Sun will be in a beautiful yoga aspected by Jupiter, which is bringing in some financial gains post 16th of November, and my best wishes for that. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. The month of November, which is bringing in significant shift because we'll see three planets going in a retrograde motion, and of course, a number of changes, planetary alignments, and motion that is happening through the month of November. I will give you the most important planetary updates, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and how you can make the most of the month of November in the most unique manner. Here, I have a representative chart for you to make things very easy, to make things very simple as well. Let us begin with your Lagna Lord Surya, the Lord of the Ascendant. So, Sun going through its debilitated transit will be getting cancellation of debility by the virtue of conjunction with Venus. Venus is your 10th lord. So the Lagna lord and 10th lord are making a conjunction in your third house of efforts. Venus rules your work, profession, your Karyabhava. Venus is also third lord of your valor, courage, efforts, and Sun is your ascendant lord. So any efforts that you put between 1st till 16th of November, you would likely see results at the work front, at the workplace. This time period could also trigger a workplace change, either a transfer or some sort of internal change that you might undergo, you might come across. Maybe the management changes, or you could have a change in your bosses, or you get something new which is totally unique, which is totally different. Leverage the power of your creativity at work. This is the need of the hour. And also your potential relationship building skills to build meaningful, long lasting relationship because your desire quotient will be quite high for you to become successful. Now, later, Sun will move in the fourth house. In fourth house, Sun is losing direction because Sun gains directional strength in the 10th house. So somehow you would be low in terms of your confidence. However, Jupiter has a fifth special aspect on Sun and also on Mars, who's the fourth lord. So, firstly, Sun and Mars are going to be in a yoga. So, your Lagna lord throughout the month of November is in very positive yogas. And second half, in spite of being in a weak position, it is being aspected by Jupiter, which is giving it further boost, which means that it is time for you to learn. Fifth aspect of Jupiter is the aspect of knowledge, jnana, the kind of knowledge that you should have, the kind of knowledge that you must possess. So, of course, it is putting you in a comfortable position, but you will still lack confidence. And this is where you will have to take some advice, some expert advice, expert guidance would be very necessary. You will build cordial relationship with your mother, but at the same time, please take care of your mother's health. There's a lot of fiery element in your fourth house. So fire is going to be there in the heart chakra. And of course, you will be very passionate in terms of anything that you do. So if you love someone, you'll be extremely passionate about it. If you love your work, you will be super passionate about it. There will be an overflow of energy at your home, and this could become very difficult for you to deal with other people. So this is how you will probably read this. Jupiter making a transit in the 12th house, an exalted transit is definitely increasing your spiritual quotient. It is supporting the 4, 8, 12, the moksha trine, and increasing your spiritual capabilities, your spiritual pursuits. Now, 11th of November, Jupiter will go retrograde, and here it is making an aspect on the 7th house, which is a very strong aspect when it goes retrograde, because Jupiter will start behaving as if it is in the sign of Capricorn. So it's relatively a weaker position for Jupiter, but at the same time, it's a short transit. It is definitely bringing in some karmic repercussions. The aspects are going to be extremely auspicious because Jupiter here aspects Mars, it aspects your Lord Sun and Mercury, and also Saturn. Four of these planets will be under the auspicious aspect of Jupiter, and this is where you got to maximize. Donate graciously to the best of your capacity, donate to hospitals, donate to places of worship, and donate to those who need. Mars, who is the Yoga Karak or the most favorable planet for you because he becomes the fourth lord and the ninth lord. Mars is making a very strong transit in your fourth house. It will be conjoined with Mercury. So, Mercury and Mars technically are forming a Dhan Yoga here in your fourth house because 4, 9, 11. If these houses and the second house, if these houses making a connection or conjunction, it leads to a financial yoga, Dhan Yoga. This is either applicable to you or someone at your home will have some sort of financial gains. So this looks like a prosperous month for you. Mars is in a great dignity. You could take some good decisions related to your assets, related to your real estate, related to your vehicle. And Mars is also under the auspicious aspect of Jupiter, which is supporting your Bhagya and also your comfort zone. I would advise you to do some morning routine, bring in some sort of consistency because you definitely need some level of spirituality in the month of November for your benefit. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs, the month of November, which is bringing in some significant shifts, a number of planetary movements that are happening. I'm here to give you a view of the month of November, some highs and lows, ups and downs, how you can make the most of this month by talking about some important planetary positions. And of course, here I have a representative chart for you, which gives the most important planetary positions to make things simple and easy for you. Now let us begin with your Lord of the Ascendant, your Lagna Lord and the 10th Lord, Mercury or Buddha. Because whenever Mercury makes a transit, it will always have an impact on you, regardless of your Dasha Antardasha. And Mercury is spending a lot of time in the next few months in the sign of Scorpio. Typically till end of December, Mercury will spend majority of time in the sign of Scorpio because that includes its retrograde motion as well. Mercury generally is a very fast-paced graha. It's a quick graha. But when it goes retrograde, it slows down its pace to a great extent. Now, the first 9 days, Mercury will be direct in the third house, which means it is supportive of effort, it is supportive of valor. Mars is conjunction for the initial days is bringing some sort of energy boost. Okay, they will also be in planetary war, Graha Yuddha, where Mercury is losing. So you have to be generally careful in terms of making important decisions. You also have some karmas related to your sibling, especially if it's your younger sibling. You could go through some repercussion, or probably they might need you, or you might need them. So please stay in touch and try to resolve the differences in case there have been any differences. This time period can also trigger a shift in residence. You could either change places or change of your workspace or your workplace. That could be pretty much there depending on your ongoing Dasha Antardasha. On 23rd of November, Mercury will re-enter Libra where it will be conjoined with Venus. Both of them will be forming a very strong Dhan Yoga while Mercury still will be retrograde. Later it will move in a direct motion. But here you have to ensure that any financial decisions that you take that could very well be there towards the end of November, that will be more or less better for you. I mean, post 29th of November is when I would recommend you to take those decisions because you have a good support and a nice Dhan Yoga is also active. But this time period is very good for you to connect with your old colleagues, acquaintances, and people who are personally linked to you from your past. This is where you can maximize and try and reach out to them. Some past friends as well. Mercury will be getting a support from Jupiter by the fifth drishti. This is a good protection which Jupiter is definitely bestowing in your third house. So do not shy away from putting efforts. Venus. Venus is your ninth lord and the second lord, a favorable planet for you. And it is making a transit in the second house in the sign of Libra. It will be conjoined with Surya, but Venus is not going through any combustion in the month of November. Both are connected. Now, when both are connected, it is good for family related matters because it will bring your natural focus and a sense of consistency. So, Venus and Sun's conjunction is giving you a financial support in the month of November. Though Sun is your 12th lord, but when expenses would increase, so would your income. And Surya is attaining Neecha Bhanga Raj Yoga in this case. And you also need to understand that Jupiter will be aspecting Saturn as well, who's your fifth and the sixth lord. So, besides Venus being in great dignity in the second house, Saturn is also getting some support. So, you will see a little bit increase in the pace of life in the month of November. This is what you could probably make a sense during the time. Now, when Sun initially will be in Libra, this is also creating a Pap Kartari Yoga on your Lagna. So you might not be in the best of your spirits, in the first half of the month because you could physically feel a bit drained out or weak. Try and build your immunity. Try and stay active all the time. Try also stay hydrated all through the time. This is what you should do. From an efforts point of view, any efforts that you put in the month of November, you would likely see the results. Saturn will go direct later, towards the end of November. Saturn gains directional strength in the seventh house, or it is Digbali. It will start receiving aspect from Jupiter, which is the ninth aspect. So you need to implement your knowledge in terms of future pursuits, future decision making. Last week of November is very important for you because this is where, besides the Dhan Yoga, Saturn will also be in a stationary position. So you could probably work towards manifesting things related to the future, and my best wishes for you. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. The month of November, I'm here to give you the most important planetary updates, some highs and lows, ups and downs, what you could expect, and how you can maximize in the month of November. Here, I have a representative chart for you, which will give you a view. And here, we are trying to keep things very simple yet elaborative at the same time. The month of November is extremely important for you because there are a number of planetary shifts, there are a number of changes that are happening, including three planets going retrograde: Jupiter, Saturn, and also Mercury. So, Jupiter and Mercury will join the retrograde season along with Saturn, though Saturn, towards the end of November, will move in its direct motion. But let us begin with the transit of your Lagna Lord, the Lord of the Ascendant, and also the Lord of the eighth house, Venus or Shukra, who would be entering your ascendant and will be in your Lagna most of the time in the month of November. Now, this is where you will also see that Venus is conjoined with Surya. So, thankfully, Venus will not face any combustion because there will be a significant difference in terms of their degrees. Now, when Venus is in Lagna, along with Surya, who is the Karaka or the significator of the ascendant, and he's also your 11th lord. So, both of them are forming a Dhan Yoga or a wealth yoga in your ascendant. And this is where you could expect some sort of financial gains. Your decision making will be very positive and you will be very confident about your decisions because Sun, Venus, Jupiter, these three planets are in the quadrant houses. Sun is more or less a neutral planet for you. Venus and Jupiter are both natural benefics, and being natural benefics, it will promote good decision making while they are making a transit in the Kendra house. Venus's transit is important because that will improve your personality, that will make you more conscious about your actions, about your thinking, and the way you will deal with others, the way you would probably perceive others. Venus will be aspecting your seventh house. So this will improve relationship issues. If you had any probably instances or probably difficulties with relationship, now you would see some respite, you would see some improvement. And for those people who are trying to step into a new relationship, this month could be favorable for them. Let us talk about Saturn, who is the fourth and the fifth lord for you. Saturn becomes a Yoga Karak or the most favorable planet. Continues to move through the sixth house. This is the last phase of Saturn's retrograde motion. So, if you've not been able to take action by now, you should very well take action because you will not get this opportunity later. Saturn is under the ninth aspect of Jupiter, which is a very auspicious aspect, which is the aspect of implementing your knowledge. And this is where you need to ensure that you maximize with regards to future pursuits. You will see a sense of pace coming in your life. So there is no scope of lethargy, there is no scope of slowness or a slowdown. So you will see some sort of pace coming in your life, wherein Jupiter is extremely supportive. Towards the end of November, Saturn will go direct. Last week of November, it will be stationary. And this is where you have to take some decisions with regards to your daily routine because some things that you will start, you will get long lasting results. You will get lifelong results with regards to those matters, which is your comfort, your home, and also things related to your future, your positional success. Let us also talk about Mercury, who again becomes an important planet for you. Mercury is your ninth lord and the 12th lord. So he becomes your Bhagyesha, the lord of the ninth house and the 12th house. And lord of the ninth house is making a transit in the second house along with Mars, who is the second lord. So this is again a Dhan Yoga. So you have multiple Dhan Yogas going through this time and they are being aspected by Jupiter. So when Jupiter is aspecting, it is making things very fortunate, very favorable when it comes to financial matters, when it comes to work related matters. If you face some issues with regards to your work, you would see some sort of betterment here. But Mercury will go retrograde for about 20 days and then it will also move back to your ascendant in Libra. So last week definitely is more favorable for you when Mercury and Venus will make a conjunction in your ascendant, in your Lagna. So that time period is definitely very favorable for you. All right. Because again, it's a strong Dhan Yoga and Mercury will also begin its direct motion. So you could take some important decisions at that point in time. However, this time period, you would be looking at some differences with regards to family. You could have some confusion with regards to finances or your financial decisions. Your family or some of your friends or the wider social network or your teachers, your gurus. So you might reach out to them and start building those connections. And my best wishes for you. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. The month of November, here's the most important planetary updates in terms of transits for you. I have a representative chart for you, which will give you a view of the planetary movements, the shifts, what you could expect, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and how you can make the most of the month of November. So, firstly, there'll be a number of planets in your trinal houses, 1, 5, 9 in the month of November, which is promoting financial growth, which is promoting financial development, especially in the second half of November. Second half of November would be more favorable for you when it comes to anything related to your personal finances and, of course, things that are related to yourself as well. Let us begin by understanding the transit of the Lord of the Ascendant and the Lord of sixth house, Mars or Mangal in this case, who would be making a transit in your Lagna, in your Ascendant, in the first house. Mars naturally also rules the first house, so the powerhouse of energy is coming in your Ascendant. You will have a lot more energy after 16th of November because this is where Mars and Sun will make a conjunction in your Ascendant. Surya is the Karaka of Lagna and Mars is your Lagnesha. So, of course, your intelligence is there, your decisions are going to be favorable. And this month, you can definitely take some vital decisions that are related to yourself and that are also related to your work. Because this is a yoga between your Lagna Lord and the 10th Lord in your first house. Mercury will also join, who is your 11th Lord. So, it is giving some financial boost as well, particularly when Mercury is going retrograde. So, Mercury going retrograde in your case is good because Mercury is a potent malefic and it is under the great influence of Mars. So, Mars is the king here. Mars is probably deciding and having a greater influence because it is in great dignity. So, when your Lagna Lord is in good dignity and it is also being aspected by Jupiter. So, this is where you can take some important decisions related to yourself, related to your family, related to your work, and related to your daily life. Mars also rules the sixth house that represents job. Sun rules your 10th house that represents work. Second half of month, you could probably step into a new role, a new job, or you could look for some positive developments, positive changes in your work if you have faced some challenges. The first half still will remain very challenging in terms of facing any authority issues or probably issues with regards to people. So the first week, 10 days, you have to still be careful of who you are dealing with. Let us talk about Jupiter, Devaguru Brihaspati, who is your fifth lord. Jupiter has been making a transit now in your ninth house, in its exaltation sign of Cancer. It is aspecting your ascendant, your Lagna Lord, and later it will also aspect your 10th Lord. It is also aspecting the fifth house and Saturn being placed here. So Jupiter's aspect is activating your Dharma trine, which means the trine of righteousness, your fundamental thinking, your duties, and of course, doing things right, making the most positive decisions, and of course, sticking to the path of dharma, sticking to the path of righteousness. Now, on 11th of November, Jupiter goes retrograde. So when it is Vakri in Cancer, it starts behaving as if it's Jupiter sitting in the sign of Capricorn. It will have a very strong aspect on the third house. When it has very strong aspect on the third house, it gives you the power to put efforts, to use your wisdom, to use your knowledge, to put efforts and any efforts that you put at that point in time. However, it will bring in some karmas from the past, okay? Because Jupiter rules your fifth house, so and your second house. Family matters and matters related to your children, that will be the center of the attention. So if you have to fix your future, you have to go back to your past and maybe take some corrective actions. It is time for you to reflect and take some corrective actions there. All right. But the aspects of Jupiter will be absolutely auspicious. You will have a renewed focus on your dharma. As long as you stick to the path of righteousness, your dharma, there is definitely no looking back at this time. Venus will be moving through your 12th house, creating a Viparit Yoga, which means circumstances could go adverse. Eventually, you will rise. The first half of the month, you have to take care of your expenditure. Your expenditure could increase, especially related to work and related to your personal life as well. So, not be impulsive in terms of expensing. Try not be impulsive with regards to your finances and how you deal with it. Have a budget in place, do a budgetary exercise, and this is where you will have the ability to maximize. Continue to strengthen moon. See, Jupiter's transit in Cancer is anyway strengthening your ninth lord, your Bhagyesha moon. So fortune is anyway favorable for you. You will be in a good position mentally, and I wish you the very best. Sagittarius ascendant signs, also Sagittarius moon signs. I'm here to give you the view of the month of November, some most important planetary updates, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and what you can expect through the month of November. So here I have a representative chart for you, which will give you a view of the most important planetary movements. And of course, you could make a sense of how you could be supported and some remedies for you as well towards the end of the day. So let us begin with the Lord of your ascendant, Devaguru Brihaspati, Jupiter, who also is the fourth Lord. Jupiter has already entered Cancer, which is its exaltation sign that falls in your eighth house. Eighth house is a sudden house. It brings sudden shift, sudden ups and downs. So you could feel this energy shift. And Jupiter's transit, regardless of your dasha, antardasha, whatever you're going through, you will always have an impact of this transit because this could trigger life events, and especially when it is aspecting Saturn, who's your second and third lord. So this could definitely trigger major events, even if it's a short transit. But it is giving you huge protection. And Jupiter's transit is promoting your spiritual quotient. 4, 8, 12 trine, which is your moksha trine. That is being protected. That is being channelized and harmonized. However, this might not be the most ideal month for you to take some big decisions. So try and stay low key. This is the month to relax. This is the month for rejuvenation. This is the month for traveling. This is also the month to make a positive shift, to bring a positive shift in your lifestyle. See, because typically when Jupiter is making a transit here, it is having very good aspects. So you see, you have a lot of planets in the third house, sixth house, and the 12th house. All right. So this is where you have to maybe lay low key and increase your spiritual sadhana, spiritual practices. Now, the other important planet that I'd like to talk about is Mars and how Jupiter and Mars are making a connection in the month of November. So Mars is your fifth lord and the 12th lord, making a transit in the 12th house. So Mars is not considered very good in the 12th house. It is not the domain of Mangal. Mangal is a warrior, right? So what will you do in the house of losses, expenditure, and of course, uh, your higher self-consciousness and also spirituality, all right? But this is also your 12th lord, so it is creating a Vipreet Yoga. You are likely to gain from feminine energies, from women in your life. So make sure that you reach out to them. All right. Mars will be conjoined with Mercury initially. Mercury is your Bhadakesh. Besides being the third and the 10th lord, he also rules your obstacles. So thankfully, you will have less obstacles in the month of November. But you would get some new, unusual projects, work-related projects, which could put you in an uncomfortable position. Make sure that you reach out to some of your old acquaintances. When Mercury goes retrograde, between 9th till 29th of November, on 23rd of November, it will also move in your 11th house. Now, this is where you might reconnect with someone who you were in a relationship with in the past, or your work colleagues, acquaintances. And this is where you can make the most of it. Spiritual discipline has to be there. After 16th of November, Mars and Sun will make a conjunction in your 12th house. Before that, Surya is in the 11th house. It is attaining Neecha Bhanga Yoga conjoined with Venus. Venus and Sun here are promoting positive financial development. Surya is your Bhagyeshwar. So let me tell you, when your fifth lord and ninth lord are making a conjunction together, that is a yoga which is related to your fundamental. And the other trinal lord, Jupiter, is aspecting these two planets. So this is a time for your protection, for your spiritual sadhana, for increasing your sense of devotion. And you can gain a lot. If you start some practices, you'll become consistent. Anything that you start in the second half of November, you're likely to attain consistency. So start new work, new projects, or of course spiritual discipline as well. First half, Sun definitely is achieving Nichabhanga, which is supportive of Bhagya. Second half, you will not get support of your Bhagya, you will not get support of fortune, but you will have to take things in your own hands in terms of deciding. Jupiter will also go retrograde on 11th of November. So when your Lagna Lord goes retrograde, it is a karmic time period for you. It is time period for you to reevaluate things related to yourself, related to your mother, related to your home, your assets, your comfort as well. It's a short phase. All right. This will mostly be supportive because it will have a strong aspect on the second house, which will promote financial growth, financial development. But Jupiter when it is exalted and goes retrograde, it starts behaving as if it's Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. So, this is where you have to be a little bit cautious as well, and do not hesitate from taking advice, from taking suggestion or any help. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. The month of November, which is bringing in significant planetary movements, I am here to give you a view of the most important planetary shifts, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and what you could expect in the month of November. What are some of the most important planetary updates and shifts for you? A lot is happening in this month. So, including three planets that we will witness going in a retrograde motion. Jupiter and Mercury will be joining the retrograde season along with Saturn. Though Saturn will prepare itself for its direct motion towards the end of November. And that is the first graha that I'd like to start about, which is your Lagna Lord and your second Lord, Shani or Saturn, who continues to move in a retrograde motion or a Vakri motion in your third house. Third house represents your valor, your courage, change. It represents journeys. Journey doesn't necessarily mean that you will travel. It could represent start of something new as well. Now, Saturn will prepare for its direct motion towards the end of November. Last week of November typically is an important time period for you because this is when Saturn will be stationary. So, this is where you can take some of the most important decisions. You can manifest things related to yourself, your family, and your finances because this is what Saturn rules. And it is an important time period for you to continue putting efforts, continue working your way hard. And of course, time for action is when Saturn goes retrograde. Do not shy away from taking an advice or a suggestion from someone senior or typically an advice. Now, Shani will be under the beneficial aspect of Jupiter. Jupiter will have a ninth drishti on Saturn, which is giving it good support. So, you will see an increase in the pace of your life. This is promoting positive decision making. Month of November throughout, especially the first half, is important for you. You can make some important decisions. Jupiter and Saturn will both be in Pushkar Amsha in Navamsha. They will be in an auspicious dignity. Jupiter will be Vargottama, which means it is in the same sign in Navamsha. It will be in Cancer. So, extremely powerful, extremely impactful. Though your desire quotient will be very high. A number of planets are there in the third house, seventh house, and the 11th house, giving you a huge sense of desire, which you need to channelize and channelize appropriately, but you can still make some important decisions. The next graha I'm going to talk about is Venus or Shukra, who is a yoga karak or a most favorable planet for you because Shukra rules the fifth house and the 10th house. Two houses that represents Rajya Bhav, kingdom, or the houses that bring king-like success. 10th house is the house of your work, your profession, your actions, what you do in this world. And 5th house is all about your future. Positional success is seen from this house. Your children are seen from this house. Venus is making a transit in the 10th house. So 10th Lord in the 10th house, and initially it will be conjoined with Surya, who is your 8th Lord. Surya is achieving cancellation of debility. Sun also gains directional strength or is Digbali in the 10th house. Venus is also one of the significator of the 10th house because he represents relationship at work. So if in case you faced any authority issues, any issues with senior, now you will start focusing on building cordial relationships and not only building relationship, how you can make the most of this relationship to benefit you. This should be your end goal with regards to the month of November. So workplace development looks positive, looks quite significant. So does your health and vitality. So does your immunity because you will focus a lot on a healthy lifestyle, on a healthy living, which will have a positive reflection at workplace. Because in the month of November, your sleep is also likely to improve in case you had any issues previously with regards to sleep. Jupiter is moving in your seventh house, which is a not so good position for Jupiter, but it's in a great dignity. So when it's in a great dignity, it is protecting your relationship. And on 11th of November, when it goes retrograde or Vakri, it is time for you to reflect back in your relationship. You need to reflect in your marital life and of course relationship with other people, and how you can continue to improve these relationships. Change is inevitable when Jupiter goes retrograde because he's the third lord in your case, and it is also making an aspect on the third house where Shani is placed. The other transit I'd like to talk about is the transit of Mercury. Mercury is your ninth lord, the lord of fortune, and Mercury will go retrograde for about 20 days, wherein it will look back at your work. So, time to re-evaluate some of your work-related decisions. See, financially, it is a positive month for you. You will have high sense of desires, which you need to channelize. You would like to reconnect with some of your friends, some of the old connections, maybe friends you lost touch with, and this could be quite a favorable time for you to do that. There could be some confusion with regards to workplace decisions, with regards to relationship with your friends, which you will try to overcome by the support of your partner or a trusted advisor. And my best wishes for you. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. So here I'm going to talk about the month of November, give you the most important planetary updates, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and what you could expect through the month of November. I have a representative chart for you that'll give you a view and try to keep things very simple yet very elaborative at the same time. Let us begin with your Lord of the Ascendant and the 12th Lord, Shani or Saturn, who continues its retrograde motion. However, towards the end of November, Saturn will go direct. And in the last week of November, it will be in a stationary position for about 5 to 7 days. And this is where it is an important time period for you to make some important decisions in your life. You will have a renewed sense of confidence, and you could also manifest things related to yourself. If you've not been able to take action till now, this is your last chance, this is your last opportunity. Even now, Saturn will be under the ninth auspicious aspect of Jupiter, which is the aspect of knowledge and how you can implement your knowledge. And Jupiter's call here is to implement your knowledge to improve your personality and also to reduce your expenditure. Rather help others, rather do good for others, and try to build financial prosperity in your life. This is the need of the hour. Month of November is important for you. You can make some important decisions. Absolutely, things seem to be more or less favorable here. And of course, taking that call of action. Shani will continue to again look back at the ascendant, try to reevaluate your decisions, and you will see some similar patterns. Patterns very similar to what happened early in the year between March through May. If you probably can look back in your life, so you would need to maybe deal with similar things or similar energies. That could very well be the trend. The other important planet for you is Mercury. Mercury becomes your fifth lord and also the eighth lord. So it's a favorable planet because it's your fifth lord. Fifth lord holds a great importance, a great disposition because he's the one who rules the future. Mercury is making a transit in the 10th house. So he's the Karka for the 10th house. And on 16th of November, Surya will also enter the 10th house where it gains directional strength. Mars is also in the 10th house, who's your 10th lord, gaining directional strength. So your 5th lord and 10th lord are conjoined in the 10th house, forming a very nice yoga. This could indicate work related development. You have to be very serious about your work. And of course, you will spend most of your energies, most of your time in terms of work related matters. This time period is extremely supportive for new opportunities, bigger roles, better roles, and of course, bringing that shift as well. Things could move in a fast paced manner. But after 9th of November, Mercury will go retrograde. So between 9th till 29th, it goes retrograde. It will also move back here on 23rd of November and form a beautiful yoga with Venus, which is again promoting financial prosperity. But you will have to reflect back to your decisions related to your job, past decisions. You could connect with old colleagues, acquaintances, old connections for you to get some favors, for you to get some benefit. But this is definitely a very promising month when it comes to work related matters. You must leverage these energies you will have very high level of energies, very fiery energies as well. So it's important for you to channelize those energies. At workplace, you need to ensure that you keep yourself hydrated. Second half of the month, there could be some authority issues. There could be some issues with people of influence or people at leadership positions. So make sure that you try and stay low key and avoid any conflict situation with such people. First half, I do expect you to get some support because Surya is attaining Nichbhanga Yoga by the virtue and support of Venus. And Venus, who's the Yoga Karaka planet for you, or the most favorable planet, because Venus or Shukra becomes your fourth lord and the ninth lord, the lord of your safe space, comfort space, and also your bhagya. Making a transit in the ninth house itself, it's a very strong and a powerful transit of Venus, which only comes once in about an year and a half. And here, Sun and Venus are making a conjunction, and this is where I would expect significant improvement in relationship matters. And your bhagya to elevate, your fortune to favor you. One thing that I would also like to mention is that during the three planetary conjunction, they will also be in the beneficial aspect of Jupiter, which is again promoting workplace development. So your dharma as well as karma in the month of November is going to be in a very strong position. So this is where you need to maximize. This is where you need to leverage the power of these energies. Jupiter's retrograde would rather be good for you because Jupiter, when in the sixth house goes retrograde, it is promoting positive development. It is making you more spiritual. It is going to bringing newer, better job opportunities, which are maybe linked to your past work. So this is how you would read it, and my best wishes for you. Pisces ascendant signs or the Pisces moon signs. The month of November. I'm going to give you the most important planetary updates, some highs and lows, ups and downs, and how you can make the most of the month of November. Here's a representative chart for you, which will give you a view of what I'm talking about. And of course, I'm going to keep things simple yet elaborative at the same time. It's the real analysis for the month of November. Month of November is quite significant. It is quite heavy. There are a number of changes that are happening, including three planets going retrograde motion. And of course, almost every planet is changing signs or changing nakshatras. Saturn is going to move in a direct motion towards the end of November. Jupiter and Mercury will join the retrograde season of Saturn. Now let us begin with the Lord of the Ascendant and Lord of the 10th house, Dev Guru Brihaspati, Jupiter, who already begun its exaltation transit in the sign of Cancer that falls in your 5th house of future, positional success. This is the true Rajya Bhava. Power comes from the 5th house because this is the domain of Surya. Sun is the authority, he is the government. So Jupiter does very well because he is the Karaka of the 5th house. From a position point of view, it is a very good position. It is activating your Dharma trine, the trine of righteousness. And you being a dual sign, there are a number of planets in your trinal houses. This promotes positive developments when it comes to financial matters, when it comes to financial prosperity here, and because there are a number of planets here. Jupiter will be aspecting your ascendant, where Saturn is making a retrograde transit. Shani is Maran Karak in the ascendant. Jupiter's aspect on Saturn will increase the pace in your life. If you face any delays, this Jupiter is supporting Shani, bringing it, somewhat out of Maran Karak because Jupiter is the one who gains direction strength in the Lagna. So you will get some respite, and of course, you will see an increased pace in your life as well. Jupiter is also aspecting your ninth house. You will see a multiple planetary conjunction in your ninth house, including your ninth lord Mars, Mercury, who's the fourth and the seventh lord, and Surya, who's the sixth lord. So, of course, these connections are definitely increasing the level of confidence. But after 11th of November, Jupiter goes retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So, when an exalted planet goes retrograde, in Vedic text, it says that it starts behaving as a debilitated planet. But Jupiter will not really be debilitated. Okay, it will behave as if it's sitting in the sign of Capricorn, but that's still in the 5th house. Okay, so it is still in good dignity, but it will make you reflect about your decisions. It's time for reflection. It will also make you reflect with regards to workplace matters, workplace change, And of course, it might make you a little bit uncomfortable or restless. So just deal with these restlessness that is only going to be lasting for the next few days. Gradually, Jupiter will regulate its pace. So it is definitely bringing optimism till early December. That is for sure. All right. Mars, who's your ninth lord, and also your second lord, plays a very important role in financial matters, is making a transit in the ninth house and under the very auspicious fifth aspect of Jupiter. Second half of the month, Sun and Mars will be conjoined, forming a beautiful yoga and under the aspect of Jupiter. When Jupiter is aspecting Sun, it is creating a royal yoga, royal lineage. When Jupiter is aspecting Mars, there are blessings of the Divine Mother, Goddess Parvati. So the energies are going to be very high. So your dharmic quotient is going to be extremely high. You'll be extremely spiritual. This time period is very good for spiritual knowledge, higher education. If you want to pursue, and of course, if you want to travel, move abroad, this could be a favorable time period for you because journeys are indicated from this house. Travel is indicated from this house. Jupiter's transit along with Sun as well as Mars transit could trigger a change of place or a shift of place. And this is also being supported by Venus forming a Viparit Yoga in your 8th house throughout the month of November. This is where it supports as well. Mercury going retrograde in the ninth house, you need to least worry about it because you will have less obstacles. Mercury is Badakesh for you. So it going retrograde and also combust is in a way good for you. But you can have some repercussions when it comes to relationship matters. And this is where you have to be careful. Just be very protective of your spouse, your partner. Their health could be a little bit concerning during this time. And this is where you need to exercise a little bit of a caution. However, personally, it's quite an eventful month for you. Use mantra-based remedies. As long as Jupiter is in the fifth house, mantras will work very well for you. Guru Bij mantra is very good for you, or a simple Guru mantra that is Om Guruve Namah 12 times, and you'll be able to channelize these energies very well. And my best wishes for you. So, friends, this was a simple yet elaborative outlook for the month of November 2025 and what we can expect based on our ascendant as well as moon signs. I hope you liked this video. Please share it with your friends and family. Stay tuned for more such videos on my channel as I continue to make the monthly transit update, give you the most holistic and the detailed view of predictions. Thank you very much. God bless you all.